everyone, welcome. If you're new here, my name is Tottocharizze. In this video, we are setting up for my June monthly bullet journal spreads. I can't believe this is my last theme in my current bullet journal because I only have few pages left. I am very excited to get planning, but before we do, I wanted to thank today's lovely sponsor, Milkshake. I've created a mobile website with Milkshake and I'm super in love with it. I'll talk more about them later in the video, so without further ado, grab your bullet journals and plan with me. I decided to go for a hot air balloon theme for June, and this time I'll be using mixed media on my setups. For the cover and quote pages, we're going to do an A4 sized painting. I'm using my 300 GSM watercolor paper, and this is actually my first time to use one because of the painting technique I'm going for. Then I just grabbed two sizes of paint brushes in number 4 and 11 and my solid watercolor set. I'm leaving all the supplies I'm using and my discount codes for you guys as always on the video description if you are interested on a specific product. The very first thing I did is to secure all the sides of the watercolor paper with a washi tape. Aside from clean, straight margins, this will help you move freely by keeping the paper in place as you paint. And these kinds of tapes are very gentle, so you won't have to worry about ruining the paper when you peel it off. I quickly sketched out the hot air balloons with a pencil before painting, which I didn't include anymore in this video, so it won't take much longer. I started the painting process from the top half of the balloon for the cover page side with a rosy pink color. While painting, you might want to follow the shape of the gores or the fabric sections or panels. Then you'll see me adding another layer of paint to it. I realized I should have used the bigger brush for this part. Now to make it more defined, I painted thin lines in between them with a slightly darker color. Next step is to paint this ribbon around the middle with a lavender color. You can absolutely choose a different color palette for your balloons. Any color would totally work for this. I wanted to make this look three-dimensional, so what I do is to keep some areas light and some parts with a darker shade. Having a reference picture would greatly help to see which parts are hit by the light and the parts with shadows. Then I continued to work on the other half of the envelope with this peachy brownish color and the skirt with the same rosy pink color. This design of hot air balloon might not even exist, especially with the skirt, but I like how it resembles a mermaid, which reminds of summer that usually gets around the month of June. This plan with me video is actually very special to me because I started to use a bullet journal June last year, and I did my very first plan with me video on May. I can't believe it's been a year of sharing my bullet journal setups with you guys and looking back to my first spreads and how the system and just journaling helped me a lot. I'm so thankful and I'm looking forward to share more with you. Now I'm painting the wicker basket and cables of this balloon with sienna color. I initially thought of adding some more decorations on the basket and the parachute valve, but at this point it looks good for me, so the next thing I did is just add some lines using a black fine liner. I'm using the Artline drawing system pen this time. You may skip this part as I personally just like this kind of a sketchy look to give more of a body to the painting. Onto the left side, I'm painting two more balloons in different sizes and heights, but they're going to appear smaller than the balloon on our cover page to make it stand out. Unlike the first one, I made the design simpler and easier. Finally, the last step for this painting is the sky. I chose sweet pastel colors for it. I'll be using a wet on wet technique. That's why I chose to use a watercolor paper. I first wet the area with a bigger brush where I'm painting the sky blue color. I thought of wetting the whole thing from the beginning, but I noticed that it dries up before I even add the next color. So I'm just gradually wetting the paper and adding colors like purple, pink, and yellow as I go down. The sky doesn't have to be perfect at all. You'll see me blending colors, then I'm adding more pigments to some areas to resemble clouds with shadows underneath. Then I cut the painting into half and stick them to my journal with a double-sided tape. Now to finish up this cover page, I'm drawing tiny little birds around the balloon and the monthly title below with a simple lettering or font. And for the quote page, I chose the quote, "Let your dreams take flight," which is a perfect reminder of believing that the life we dream of is still within our reach despite of the challenges. So now that the cover and quote pages are done, let's move on to our next spread. We are setting up the monthly calendar and a page for my goals and other stuff. I'm going to do another painting on this horizontal watercolor paper. There will be 5 hot air balloons here. Some are nearer and bigger and some are farther and smaller. To be honest with you guys, that first painting I did for the cover page was my second attempt. It's not my first time painting with watercolors, but I felt like probably because I just came back to painting again this month. But I'm happy that I'm able to do it again, though I was frustrated with the first try and redoing it again. At the end, it still turned out okay. Anyway, after painting the balloons, I outlined them as well with a black pen. I think outlining them made a difference to the paintings. And just like the first one, I'm also creating a pastel sky background using the same paints for this one. Keeping the area wet on every application of another color helps so much with the blending, and don't worry much about spreading the paints all over the paper properly because with watercolor, it will still look natural when it's all dried up. I know trying different approaches can be daunting, but this is a great way to learn something out of my comfort zone. I'm cutting the painting into half again and I'm attaching it on the header. Then I wrote another June title on the space to the left. To balance things up, I'm making the calendar minimal this time with just simple straight lines. Before I write the days of the week, I'm using this Archer and Olive acrylograph pens in Vernal set for the backgrounds of each day. This set includes colors that looks pastel for me, so I'm using all the colors to create rectangular boxes, then wrote the initials of the days and the dates. On the right page, I'm dedicating it for my goals and a growth tracker for my bullet journaling Instagram and YouTube channel. I just love how simple, clean writing contrasts the painting on this spread. I think it's my favorite one so far. And that is our monthly calendar, goals, and growth tracker pages. Before we move on to the next spreads, I wanted to take this time to talk a little bit about this video's lovely sponsor, Milkshake. Milkshake is a free app for creating a website all on your phone in just a few minutes with no desktops, design, or coding skills needed. As a content creator, link in bio is very essential because I have so many things I want to share to all of you. I was using a different site for my previous link. However, I was not satisfied at all because I wanted something that I can customize to fit my style with YouTube videos, discount codes, shop links, and a stylish way to introduce myself all in one place. Good thing I found Milkshake app, and I'm so happy to have made the switch. Milkshake websites are fast, fun, and super easy to make and update. It's the perfect way to connect your community to all you say, sell, and share from your link in bio on all social platforms. You can make your Milkshake website brand aligned with beautiful font selections and color customizations with lots of templates to choose from. My favorite and most used look at the moment is the Feeling Dandy. Aside from the customization, what I love about it is that I get to organize my links in categories through cards, which allows me to create multiple pages. There are so many fun and cool ways to use them. You can also track your Milkshake website performance with Milkshake's built-in app analytics called Insights. You can get notified when your mobile website is getting lots of views or having a record month by choosing to enable push notifications. You can add your Milkshake website to your email signatures, media kits, resumes, and anywhere your community wants to learn more about you. Plus, share any of your mobile website pages to Instagram stories from within the app. Milkshake has just introduced a subscription to remove their branding from your own mobile website, so it's also great to subscribe. So if you are a creator, game changer, trendsetter, a go-getter, a quiet achiever, a thought leader, with Milkshake, you can say more, sell more, and share more because you only link once. Tap the link on the video description to make your free Milkshake website today. Again, thank you very much Milkshake for supporting my channel. And now let's continue to the next pages. I mentioned a while ago that I'll be using mixed media for this setup. So this time I'm using brush pens to color in the hot air balloon illustrations. I'm using all sorts of brush pens I have on hand like my Sakura Koi, Crayola Super Tips, and Tombow dual tip brush pens. Because I don't want to stick with certain color palettes for the balloons, I'd like them to be colorful this month. On the bottom left corner, I just thought of adding these passport stamps, though it's not required on a hot air balloon trip, but just the idea of going on a flight. And while the balloons are on the colorful side, I wanted to use the same colors and medium for the backgrounds. This time, I'm just dabbing these light pigmented paints around the balloons to create this somewhat of a splash effect. Just be careful on the amount of water on your brush to avoid bleed through on the other side of the page. If you'd like to use watercolor paper for this purpose, that would still be great. I also quickly added this small string of colorful flags behind the balloon on the header. This page is going to be my content planner for Instagram and YouTube. Then I drew a line in the middle with the dates and days written alongside. In the past, I didn't thought of creating a separate section for them. I wish I had thought about it before since I'm creating content for both. Now it's a lot more organized and easier for me to plan. I also have TikTok for bullet journaling, where I post quick process videos of my setups, but I'm not really that active there. However, I'm planning on doing so when I get to have more time. Now, on the right side of the spread is allotted for my packages that I order online as well as PRs and my shopping lists. Then I divided the remaining space into 3 sections where I will write about the item descriptions, from where it's coming from, and the shipping date for the packages. As for the shopping lists, they will be categorized as groceries, items to buy online, and stuff that I'm still deciding whether to buy or not. I wasn't able to write these here on this video, but I will add them later on. I just finished the layout with a couple more of hot air balloons, and it's all done. Let's flip through to the next tracker spread. I went for a horizontal layout this month for my habit tracker with a simple and minimal individual calendars for each habit. I used 8 by 7 dot spacing for each boxes and drew grid lines to separate each day. Then I used my pink Tombow dual tip brush pen to color in the backgrounds, and as usual, I'm tracking the same habits. I want to keep the spread minimal and easy to create because these trackers are the ones that take most of my time, especially that I don't use stamps for this purpose. If I have them, it would save me a lot of time drawing those lines, and I'm not really sure why I haven't purchased one yet because sometimes I can be quite extra about it. The next tracker on this spread is a sleep tracker. The last time I logged my sleep was maybe November of last year. I wanted to log it again this June because routines are quite changing again being a mom. For this, I went for a line graph layout. On the left side, I wrote the number of sleep hours and below are the dates. After drawing all these boxes, I wrote the titles just next to them, the habits on the right, and the sleep on the left, with corresponding hot air balloon illustrations. And that is our super easy habit and sleep trackers. And we are down to the final spread I will be doing on this video, which is my first weekly spread of June. Flipping back to the previous spreads we just did, I realized that they are minimal and decorative at the same time, if that makes sense. So I went for a similar approach as my monthly calendar. I drew 7 vertical boxes with 8 by 14 dot spacing allocated for my daily tasks, and I also provided a smaller box for a mini calendar to fill in that space at the bottom right. Then I quickly added some details around the boxes like dashes and dots, but that is not really necessary, so you may skip that part. I'm using the Vernal acrylograph pens to paint the rectangular backgrounds for the daily titles and circular shapes for the dates. The colors are mixed matched for the shapes, and of course I have Monday through Sunday written with my black fine liner. I've said this before that you can use the space left for some notes or maybe weekly events. I also drew another set of passport stamps below the mini calendar. On the far left, I drew a banner with a yellow brush pen where the number of the week is indicated. I'm on my 23rd week on the start of June, and a couple of hot air balloon illustrations as well. I'm not quite happy with the color combinations on the bigger balloon though. I don't know, sometimes I ran out of ideas, so I just went on with that. Let me know in the comments which one is your favorite so far. I also wrote another quote on the bottom saying, "Oh, the places you'll go." I'm curious, has any one of you ever tried to ride a hot air balloon? I'm definitely going to add this on my bucket lists. And the final touch to this spread is the watercolor splash effect again, spiraling around the balloons. I started with the muted blues on top, then with purples, pinks, and yellow going down. Okay, so here's the final flip through of my June 2021 bullet journal setup. I really love how this turned out. I really like the pastel vibes and colorful hot air balloons for this month's theme. If you do recreate these spreads, make sure to tag me on Instagram so I can share them as well. I hope you enjoyed this plan with me video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more bullet journaling videos. Have a great month ahead, and I will see you on my next one. Bye!